I woke up dazed in the back of a Humvee. It was the middle of the day and the AC was still broke. Whatever weird, crazy dream I was having was gone and I was still in the hell known as 29 Palms. We weren't going fast enough to make the heat go anywhere, but I still kept my head close to the window and stared off mindlessly. Our self-chosen metallic prison hurled itself further and further into the desert, kicking up dust as it went. "Hey, look up ahead on our right, there's someone walking," said Gomez, who was in the back seat with me. We slowed down. A lone figure stumbled slowly forward with their head downwards. Details emerged as I realized it was a man. I've heard stories about random scavengers and drugged-out roamers, but I didn't think they were ever true. Pretty soon he stopped moving and simply stared at us as we passed. He had short, mangy grey hair and wrinkled leathery skin. Somewhere in the depths of his dark eye sockets there might have been eyes, but I didn't see them. He wore some ragged black shirt and old shorts. All he did was stare at us until we passed, without emotion or gesture. A few guys joked around, but I think we were all a bit nervous of who the hell this was. After another hour or so, we arrived at our destination and began to set up a complex defense on a flat piece of land. By the time 2 a.m. came around, we had finished building our defense perimeter. Machine guns and mortars were being dug in, and we had tanks to our flanks. I thought for a second. No one is ever taking our flat piece of land. Just as I thought that, the wind picked up and blew sand into my face. I took the first hour of watch whilst the other two guys slept for a bit. There probably wasn't going to be anyone attacking us tonight. But good habits win wars, or something. After an hour of being blasted by sand, I emerged from my hole to wake the next guy up. I found one guy, but I didn't see the other. He was probably behind a rock or dune or something. I woke up the one guy I saw, and he grudgingly put his gear on. He probably knows where the other guy is. I got inside my sleeping bag and fell asleep instantly. Pretty soon, someone was shaking me awake. I checked my watch and realized I'd only slept for an hour. "What the hell do you think you're waking me up for? Go wake up Gomez." "I can't fucking find him. I've been looking for 10 minutes. He's not here. Fucking boot." I get out my sleeping bag and begin getting dressed. Gomez couldn't have gone very far. We spent about 5 minutes checking the surrounding dunes and sand for him and came up with nothing. I checked his bag and his sleeping bag was definitely gone. So he was somewhere. Pretty soon, everyone was awake and we were in one big line combing the desert for this guy in the early morning light. We'd gone about a kilometer from our original spot and people began to just believe he ran away at this point. We went a little farther where there was a small mountainside and we grudgingly climbed. When we got to the top, people jokingly checked under each and every rock. "Gomez, you under here?" as some lance corporal lifted up a small boulder. He wasn't under any of them. As we were coming down the other side of it, we noticed that there was a small opening in one of the rock faces that resembled a very old mine shaft entrance. Most of the old mines had been barred up, but this one wasn't for some reason. We made a quick decision that a handful of us would quickly check the place out while the other Marines headed back. Just to be sure, right? I was the first one in. It was definitely a very old mine shaft. Whatever wood was used was rotting to dust. That gave me anxiety, but we crept forward slowly with our lights as bright as possible. As I creeped farther and farther into the cave, I noticed it was a lot cooler inside, which was nice, but it gave me a strange vibe. Eventually we came to a split in the cave. 2 of us went left and 2 of us went right. Typical horror story situation, yeah? I ended up going right and was quickly disappointed with a dead end maybe 15 meters in. As I was heading back, I heard some cursing and people struggling on the left side of the cave. One Marine was on the ground, unconscious, and Gomez, our Houdini of a Marine, was on top of the other guy. He was in full primal fight-or-flight mode. I got there just in time as Gomez picked up a rock to smash the other guy's head in. He just wouldn't snap out of it. Not the Gomez we knew anymore. It took 3 of us an exhaustingly long time to finally choke him out. We caught our breath for a minute, before we slowly drug him and our other unconscious friend out. When we started to see the entrance of the cave, I saw the ragged, weathered, and dark figure I saw on the road earlier.
It's too late.
I woke up dazed in the back of a Humvee. It was the middle of the day and the AC was still broke. Whatever weird, crazy dream I was having was gone, and I was still in the hell known as 29 Palms. We weren't going fast enough to make the heat go anywhere, but I still kept my head close to the window and stared off mindlessly. Our self-chosen metallic prison hurled itself farther and farther into the desert, kicking up dust as it went. I looked to my left, and there was an empty seat. Confused, I asked, "Where did Gomez go?"
Who the fuck's Gomez?